Hello, welcome to Flutterbug Auto. Today I'm talking about my favorite entry in the TrackMania series, TrackMania Turbo. This one I know is a bit divisive among fans if the Steam reviews are anything to go off of, and we'll talk about that a bit more later. But for me personally, this game is the most fun I've ever had with the series by far. I struggle to even find anything negative to say about it. In terms of presentation especially, this game is just absolutely fantastic. It just oozes style in everything it does, even down to the graphic design in the menus. This game is emphasizing TrackMania as an arcade racer with its big insert coin graphics and bright flashy colors, and emphasizing the gamey elements of the series, like outwardly acknowledging the air brakes and the time trial gameplay nature of the game. I really like it a lot. It's got so much big and bold design, bright colorful billboards with big stark block letters, bright lights and colorful balloons. It's wonderful. It feels like a big celebration, a big exciting international competition that feels so exciting to take part on. Everything feels so alive. Helped, of course, by the fact that for the first time you can actually see the person driving the car in every type of car, and not just the stadium one. Even the HUD adds to this. I love the presentation choices there, the fun colors and animations, the little bursts of flames when you reach high speeds, things like that. I really like how many of the fantastical parts of the game are acknowledged now, like cranes that say Track Builder 2.0, referencing, of course, the track building mode, and as mentioned, billboards that say enjoy air brakes, stuff like that. The additions of things like the cranes and helicopters, which you sometimes start the race by being dropped from, which I always love, also do a lot to bring life to the environments. Because everything feels very lived in and active. A lot of TrackMania tends to feel very empty and honestly almost like elegiac. Which has its place for sure, and I do enjoy the vibes of other TrackManias. But my personal favorite is this vibrantly alive take on the series. There's a lot I like about the sound design too. I love the addition of radio from your racing team in your ear, as well as the countdown being given out in various languages every time you start the race. Both lovely little touches in my opinion that, again, add to the liveliness. I also absolutely love the sound of the engine off sections. When you go through them, the sound goes all quiet and you get a little ding 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 sound reminiscent of a check engine noise, which honestly works extremely well to convey the idea of what's happening. And having that little bit of quiet before everything whooshes back into full volume and speed just adds this wonderfully thrilling feeling to everything. The game is really focused on acknowledging and making every little thing diegetic, down to like being able to see visible nitro canisters on the cars, implying that the way the turbo boosts work is just activating the nitro built into the car. Because like previously, these types of things existed, but were never acknowledged. The game just did stuff, you know? So interestingly, this game, in acknowledging the fantasy elements and explaining them to a degree, makes the whole game feel more real, despite being just as fantastical as it was before. It's really cool. It feels like this is the TrackMania game most interested in being TrackMania, you know? This is the TrackMania game most interested in TrackMania's world. I really dig it. I also especially like the codification of drifting as a properly acknowledged game mechanic. Drifting has existed in the series for a long time, but it always felt like a bit of an open secret, as opposed to an actively encouraged mechanic. So it's nice that this game actively shows you and makes a bit of a to-do out of pulling off a drift. There is also a lot of drifting in this game. Every car has a drift mechanic, each a bit different than the last. Like in Canyon, it's more of a Ridge Racer feeling drift, while in Stadium it's a lot more of a subtle thing. I like the little differences and nuances between them a lot. TrackMania in general, I think, is at its best when you have multiple environments in one game. I really enjoy that variety all in one place, though of course TrackMania 2020 gets around this a bit with all of its different track surfaces and gimmicks. So even though it is just one environment, it does still keep the variety. But in this one I do like how especially cohesive it is. All of the environments share decorations like the helicopters and balloons and all that kind of stuff. It really does bring it all together and make it feel like one big competition, which I talked about with Stadium in a previous video. The entire game feels like one big international competition you're taking part in. And like, it actually is that too. You really are competing with people all over the world. It's really cool. I mentioned that I liked the drifting mechanics in all of the environments, and in general I like all of the driving mechanics in this game, but I've seen people particularly dislike the Valley and Lagoon environments in this one though. With Valley, it's the handling people seem to dislike, like in general, and in Lagoon, it's the amount of different types of driving involved at once, and especially the difficulty of the roller coaster tracks. And while with Valley, I don't really agree. I like the handling just fine, personally, but I do admit that with the roller coaster tracks, sometimes it can be pretty hard to see where you're going and such, since it is very narrow and high speed by design, and the huge curves can also block your view as you go around them, making it more about rote memorization over reflex and skill. Not that memorization doesn't come into play in a game like this, but you know. I will say though that the roller coaster tracks are thrilling and aesthetically pleasing for sure. Like the sound it makes when you drive over the magnetic sections is just so good. But Lagoon also has normal roads and sand roads and lorries and such too, so there's plenty of other track types. So I do think it really is mostly bogged down by the way the roller coaster tracks feel in the play. They're completely different from anything else in TrackMania, honestly, and I think in large part that ends up being to a detriment, as much as I do like them. Lagoon itself has mixed reviews too, so I think it's not even an issue unique to this game. Like, I'm by no means an expert TrackMania player. I'm just like, I'm pretty good to like someone who doesn't really play TrackMania or know it very well, you know? Like I know about all the little tricks and nuances of how the cars work and everything, but I'm not always the best at putting them into practice. I'm a gold medal kind of gal more than author medal, you know? Which tangentially reminds me of this t-shirt that I found out about recently that you could get with TrackMania United pre-orders, actually. And it has a picture of an author medal on it, and it says, "Gold is for girls." I guess it is. So if it's hard for me, and presumably hard for more experienced players as well, it's certainly going to be hard for newer players. I actually never ended up even beating this game. I got stuck at the Black Series, particularly the final Black Series Canyon track. That track is fucking insane, I tell you. Maybe someday I will manage to beat that one. Also, speaking of the author medals I mentioned a bit ago, in this game called Trackmaster Medals, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of the game's wilder aspects while I'm here, which is the new Super Trackmaster Medals, which are times done per professional players and put officially into the game as sort of like a super secret, super hard bonus thing to go for. Many of which were done by a now infamous player known as Riolo. Riolo used to be like a well-renowned player until it was found that he was cheating for like a decade in like every TrackMania game, including the runs done officially for this game, so that's just fucking wild. And not only that, in the time it took me to make this video, it came out that over the last few years, since he was exposed, he seems to have continued playing under a bunch of alt accounts and also been using them to like send hate speech to other players and stuff. Like, I swear, TrackMania community drama is always the wildest. Like, I'm not surprised TrackMania is a series that draws in the like edgy gamer boy type crowd, especially at higher level play, but it's still fucking wild. Like, it's down to where one of the suspected alt accounts was found on a forum in 2015, right around when the game was announced, asking about how to get cheat engine working with a Uplay game so that it couldn't be detected. Meaning we seem to have found him planning to cheat his records in this game, which is just, it's amazing, frankly. What a crazy fucking legacy to be tied to this game, right? Anyway, all of that crazy tangent aside, I could just go on and on about the presentation in this game though. Like the rough and tumble car designs with big exposed roll cages and suspension, the flashy colors and graphic design, the tongue-in-cheek dialogue between races, everything is just so well done. And so, since I've spent this whole video just praising the game a ton, you might be wondering why exactly it's got such a mixed reception among fans. The mixed reception does honestly just come from the fans too. It seems like among new players, which the game was partially meant to capture, and critics, the game is actually well liked. I think it really comes down to just a handful of things. I think the most major of which being that this game was meant for consoles first and PC second. Well, this game series has historically been a PC-focused series. The only exceptions being the DS and Wii entries, one of which, ironically, also being named TrackMania Turbo. I don't know why they double-dipped on that name, but it's really funny that they did. Those games seem to have managed an alright reputation, so I think the difference here is the PC release. Since they were meant for console, all of these games have some key features usually present and the series missing, like player-hosted servers, and notably the ability to fully customize your car. The other games in the series have really flexible amounts of customization options. Beyond just the in-game painter, it's very simple to add your own stickers, or just completely design a skin for the cars outside of the game, or even import an entirely custom car model. There's an entire website dedicated to custom skins and cars even. I think a more in-depth car editor could have been possible, given that games like Hot Wheels Unleashed have one, and people go ham in that game even on console. But I do understand the simplification. The track editor is similarly simplified, though to a lesser degree. But the lack of features people are used to is still there. Couple that with the aforementioned dissatisfaction with a couple of the environments, and you can see where the mixed reception comes from. Honestly, I think if it had been a console-only release, I think it would have avoided much of the backlash, just like the Wii and DS games. Or alternatively, if the PC version had included the missing features, that probably would have helped too. It just kind of ended up as a bit of a walled garden compared to previous games, and compared to TrackMania 2020, which followed a few years later. Personally, I like being able to make my own custom car, but the designs they have on offer in this game are really cute, and I play the game on console, and also there's everything else I had to say about the game, so overall I don't mind too much. But yeah, for me, this is the TrackMania I'm always drawn into. Whenever I sit down and play it, I end up spending hours with it, feeling just absolutely immersed in its world. It's really amazing, and honestly, I consider it one of, if not just my absolute favorite racing game. I think it's that good. The vibes are just absolutely impeccable. I never even get tired of just watching the official trailers for it. The game just perfectly embodies all of the feeling that I want to get out of racing. And I hope you've all enjoyed watching this one. If you haven't played this game before, I definitely recommend trying it out. Maybe you'll like it as much as I did. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments about this game in general. And as usual, I'll be back with more racing content in the near future. See you soon!